Breaking news, everybody. I got a story that just popped up here on the Gateway Pundit while I was uh, creating this video for y'all. Before I get into that, though, I want to let y'all know I went down to get my Texas driver's license today after work and realized that they need a birth certificate for you to renew your driver's license here in Texas. And so I googled it, and sure enough, if you're a first-time driver or first-time driver's license or first-time ID in the United States, it is now law per Trump that you need to provide several forms of identification, including the birth certificate. And I was happy to be able to dig it out of the box in the bedroom, out of the file cabinet in the bedroom, and bring it and show it to him today. And it's just one more security provision to prevent people from getting identification and driver's license when they're not U.S. citizens. So that's actually a win for the country, a win for the state, win for us, considering we are fighting this serious problem with the immigration. Speaking of immigration, it looks like there was some kind of a shootout today. Just happened, like I said minutes ago. Breaking news at 3:45 here my time, so less than an hour ago. This started happening, and I haven't read it yet, so we're going to read it together. Hope you don't mind. And then I got several other clips for you today, folks, that I wanted to bring to y'all, stuff that I thought was really important, including the great Mike Davis and what he thinks needs to be happening ASAP. All right, let's go. So just in, U.S. Marshals an illegal alien shot in a shootout. So it looks like two were shot. The marshal and the illegal with illegal alien after illegal alien. Let me start over. Just in, U.S. Marshals and illegal alien shot in shootout with illegal alien after illegal rammed agents with vehicle in attempt to flee. Well, that's a lot of illegals in that sentence. Oh, they got him in handcuffs. There we go, U.S. Marshals. So the U.S. Marshals was hit by gunfire on Tuesday during an immigration enforcement operation with the federal agents where an illegal alien reportedly rammed into an agent's vehicle with an attempt to escape arrest. The illegal alien was shot in the elbow, according to Fox News. Authorities believe that the ricochet of a bullet struck the marshal in his hand. Bill Belusion. Okay, so maybe the illegal alien didn't have a gun. The way they had it worded, a U.S. Marshal was hit by gunfire. Okay, that didn't say the illegal shot him. That's what we were alluding to. The illegal alien was shot in the elbow. Authorities believe a ricochet bullet struck the marshal in his hand. Bill Melugian wrote the story today, breaking per multiple ICE and DHS sources at Fox News. The U.S. Marshal and a target alien were both shot in L.A. this morning during an immigration enforcement operation. We were told federal agents boxed in a target and a ramming incident occurs. Fed fired weapons. Target alien was hit in the elbow and U.S. Marshal was hit in the hand in what initially appears to be a possible ricochet. Now, maybe he got shot by someone else, another agent. Was there more than one agent with their guns drawn? Both have non-life-threatening injuries and are at the hospital. Sources stress this is a preliminary info, and they are still gathering the facts of what really happened. So we will keep you updated, because at this point, that's all we know. It says feds fired weapons, so maybe he got shot by one of his own. That's very possible. The DHS ICE officer says this comes as LA County officials have declared a state of emergency in response to Trump administration's ICE raids targeting criminal illegal aliens across Southern California. The proclamation approved by the Far-Left County Board of Supervisors claims that ICE raids have caused residents to be fearful of leaving their homes and to go to work, take public transportation, access county services, including medical services, access open public programs. Thought they weren't accessing medical services. I thought they weren't getting free health care. Huh. Just said it right there. Plain as day. Says resources and attended appointments with immigration lawyers and legal service. Yeah, like they're going to immigration lawyers. Sure. I don't see that happening. Wonder who wrote that part of the article. It says LA Mayor Karen Bass was also called for Congress to investigate allegations of federal agents have unlawfully detained citizens. It says federal agents surrounded and boxed in someone in a vehicle. A driver allegedly rammed federal vehicle in an attempt to escape. Sources within the U.S., within ICE and HSI, Homeland Security investigations, told Fox News federal agents opened fire on the subject. And what appears to be ricochet, blah, blah, blah. Let me see if they have anything new here. They were both expected to survive. And this comes amid the complaint about the Trump administration immigration raids in the region, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to the last video I'll show you all today. If y'all stick around, I'll show you why it is so important to get these folks off the streets. You see what's going on in New York City with these handbag salesmen. These people are selling stolen merchandise, selling counterfeit merchandise, basically preventing any of the stores from being able to do any kind of business, much less compete with people who have no overhead because they're literally setting up shop on the curb. You'll see. Stick around. It says, well, look at this. Right after President Trump was allowed to bring the troops into Portland, the cleanup crews just showed up. How did that happen? Huh. It's hard to believe. They're actually cleaning up Portland. Wow. Now, if you keep watching, you'll see they got a lot of work to do. I'll go ahead and go right here to see what's going on around the corner here. Not good, folks. Not good.
Candid camera. You know it's a job, sir. You know you could just get a different job. It's a choice. It's literally a choice.
Well, I'm glad to see it. At least they're doing something to clean it up. What it is they don't want the optics to show when people come down there and start taking pictures of people being arrested. When you get the illegals being arrested and they're right beside the street people that are out there nodding in the streets because they're shooting up God knows what in their veins, and the piles of trash are everywhere, people are not going to care. But if they come through there and clean it up, and then ICE does the raids, it looks like they're just going after people on these clean streets. See what they're doing? For optics only, kind of like Gavin Newsom, they're cleaning up the streets. Crazy, folks. Well, I'm glad to see they're getting something done. Sounds like somebody's worried about optics and what's coming down the pike involving Trump. Trump's going to defund these cities if they don't start taking better care of their citizens, and that's just the facts. Now, Caroline Leavitt just had some really awesome information to put out there, and a lot of this information we already know. If you follow news like I do, most of this information is already out there in the ether, but the way she laid it out, folks, I listened to this whole video and I was like, yeah, that is what I'm talking about. She knows the story like Cash Patel knows the story, and I'm just glad to see it. Scroll down just a hair, folks. Check out this barn burner. Reporter asked her about the Russia collusion hoax.
Another matter, over the past few days, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has unveiled shocking new evidence that former President Barack Obama and top aides in the Obama administration conspired to subvert President Trump's 2016 election victory and undermine the democratic will of the American people. While publicly pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, in private, former President Obama went to great and nefarious lengths to try to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. The new evidence released by the Director of National Intelligence, who is here with me today, confirms that the Obama administration manufactured politicized intelligence, which was later used as the justification for baseless smears against President Trump in an effort to try to delegitimize his victory before he even took the oath of office. The truth is that President Trump never had anything to do with Russia, and the Russia collusion hoax was a massive fraud perpetuated on the American people from the very beginning. And the worst part of this is Obama knew that truth. And so did all of the other corrupt officials involved in this scam, including former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, former FBI Director James Comey, former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, and many others. Director of National Intelligence Gabbard's report further confirms what we already knew. There was no collusion, no corruption, except on the part of Barack Obama and the weaponized intelligence agencies at the time. The Russia hoax was a blatant lie, all ginned up by Democrat political operatives that were signed off on by then President Obama and leaked to the news media to launch a years-long witch hunt against President Trump. And
ooh, she's going at it. I love it, folks. For anybody that has never heard the story from start to finish, she's laying it out.
His first administration. Allies of the president, including his own son, Donald Trump Jr., were disgustingly smeared as Russian assets, and some even had their lives destroyed because of this vicious lie. The president's first 2 years in office had this fake distraction hanging over it, and endless resources, time, and political capital were spent having to debunk these lies from the highest levels of our government. Now, nearly 10 years later, thanks to the declassification of documents by Director Gabbard, the truth has finally come to light. And this truth vindicates President Trump, his family, and his many allies and associates who were smeared with defamatory lies. President Trump was right from the beginning about all of this, and we are grateful that justice can be served. Now, we have even more damning evidence implicating those who tried to sabotage a duly elected president and did grave material harm to our republic. Thanks to additional important work done by CIA Director Ratcliffe, Committee Chairman Rick Crawford over the past few months, a newly declassified 2020 report prepared by the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, which DNI Director Gabbard has declassified, found that the intel community did not have any direct information that Russian President Vladimir Putin wanted to help elect President Trump in 2016. And in fact, Russia was actively preparing for a Hillary Clinton victory. But at the unusual direction of Barack Obama at the time, the intel community published implausible intelligence suggesting otherwise. Why? To sabotage the incoming president.
You like how she's mentioned Barack Obama's name 4 times?
This is truly one of the greatest political scandals in American history. And reporters at legacy outlets, some of which are sitting in this room today, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, were ridiculously awarded Pulitzer Prizes for their perpetuation of this hoax. It's well past time for those awards to be stripped from the journalists who received them. It is not
I love it.
Journalism to propagate political disinformation in service of the Democrat Party and those in the intelligence community who hand over out of context and fake intelligence to push a false political narrative.
Woo-wee. I like it. She laid it all out in 4 minutes straight, folks. For anybody that doesn't know that's the truth, you're not paying attention. Barack Obama is at the head of the seditious conspiracy to overthrow our government with treasonous action from these traitors. And I'm just going to go ahead and call it like it is. It's not the writing is on the wall. The evidence is in the courtroom. That's what we got to get to, folks. We need more than just the information out there. We need this information to be used against these folks. I not only want to see these people get slapped on the wrist for lying, contempt of Congress or whatever, lying before a grand jury. There's so many of these people that are a lot more than just liars. They done seditious action, and I want to see the conspiracy to defraud Trump of his rights be thrown at a bolo of several people. I would start with the 51 intel agents that lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. What was that all about? Now, speaking of these cretins like Clapper and Brennan and all them, John Bolton, every single one of these deep state actors that were Obama people have not just been exposed and are being exposed. They're all being DOJ referred to the DOJ for prosecution, for criminal prosecution. And we got another one today. I think it was Clapper a couple of weeks ago. Now it's John Brennan. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan on Tuesday referred former CIA Director John Brennan to the Justice Department for criminal prosecution only for knowingly making making false statements during May 2023 interview with the House Judiciary Committee. Matt Gaetz was grilling him and asking him about what he knew about the Russia collusion hoax and the FBI's involvement, and he just played dumb, lied about it actually. John Brennan's false statement to Congress related to whether the CIA relied on Hillary Clinton's funded Steele dossier when drafting the ICA report. So they lied to cover Hillary's ass, and their own, of course. Well, there is now significant evidence that says that he's a liar. Yeah, Matt Gaetz says, well, you said that you signed this letter that we now acknowledge that Joe Biden misused in a debate to fool the American public because you're the greatest Russia expert, so I'm trying to understand your Russia expertise, and you were involved analyzing this information. I miss Matt Gaetz being in Congress. No, I was not involved in any analysis of the dossier at all. Lied right there. Got him. Were you aware of the FBI's involvement in the dossier? Yes, because there was an annex in the CIA, the intelligence community asset that the Bureau asked to include in there. It was their purview, their area, not ours at all. So basically said, I see nothing. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. So Jim Jordan has now referred John Brennan to the DOJ for criminal charges for all the stuff that they know against him. Maybe this won't be the only charge they throw at him. Hopefully this is just to open the can of worms to get all these folks squealing on Obama, because that's what we really need. We need the big fish to go. We need, well, Brennan and Clapper, they both got to go too. But definitely Obama. I'm hoping to see Obama actually have to deal with this. He should have to pay back the government that the money that he wasted. Pay back the taxpayers the money that he wasted trying to get Trump. Now, this here is a couple minutes of the Charlie Kirk Show with Mike Davis on here. The guy doing the interview today on Charlie Kirk Show. I don't actually remember his name at the moment, but Mike Davis had some really insightful things to say about the future of the country, and I'm just glad to be able to catch the clip. And if y'all don't know, the Charlie Kirk Show still plays every day. They just have rotational commentators for the channel. Almost every day it's different. They have several different people that frequent the show. I'm glad to see it go that way. Awesome. But I want to get you to the 3-minute mark on this video here, because Mike Davis hasn't been on the show since what happened to Charlie. And the commentator basically asked him, he says, so what now? How do you feel? What's the plan?
To just kind of reflect on this last month, and what's it meant to you, and what are you seeing?
It's I don't really get sad. I get angry, and I get determined, and I'm still boiling with anger about this. These leftists think that they can just kill their political enemies. They take out a father, a husband, a political leader, a good man, and it's not going to work. It's just going to make me triple down. It's going to make you two triple down. There's no way in hell we're going to go away, and there's no way in hell they're going to stop us. I remember I had to do a speech just a couple days after this happened, and it was just a Lincoln Day speech in rural Colorado, and they were worried about security, and I'm nothing compared to Charlie Kirk. I'm like 0.1%, and they were trying to tell us to cancel this speech for death threats and security reasons. And I said, there's no way in hell we're going to do this. That's exactly what the left wants. That's exactly what these demonic forces want, these Marxist forces. Like I always say, this is not our parents' or grandparents' Democrat Party. These aren't liberals who love America and just disagree with conservatives on the best way to get there. They're leftist, they're Marxist, they're demonic, they hate America, they're trying to destroy us from within, and they don't want to debate us, they want to kill us. And we need to go in with that mindset that we have to destroy these demonic forces legally, politically, and financially. And
Well,
that
that's
I
right.
I am tripled down on that effort after what they did to Charlie.
Well said, Mike. And I love that. And every time I hear somebody say something like that, I don't know about you, Mikey, but it gives me more courage, to keep going. So I know that we're not alone in this. I know there's an army of us, very peaceful army, but we are very, very serious. And so I just thank you for saying that. It really means a lot.
All right, folks, we're going to jump down to like the 17-minute mark. I thought this was great as well. I like Mike Davis. He's one of the great ones. All right, here we go.
You said you're really into this. There's a grand conspiracy that I think is kind of what Tulsi has been hitting on with some of those revelations earlier in the summer about John Brennan, Clapper, Comey. Comey's already been indicted, but not necessarily for this sort of grand conspiracy that Tulsi. It maybe overlaps a little bit, but if you could just plot out the next couple of months, maybe the next 6 months to a year, what would you like to see? Be prescriptive, not predictive.
Well, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida is Jason Redding Quinones. He's my buddy, and he has already filed with the courts down in the Southern District of Florida, and the court has approved a special grand jury for Fort Pierce, Florida. And that's public. That's a public document. It takes a couple of months to impanel that grand jury, so that grand jury should be fully up and running by January. And I would say to these lawfare Democrats who waged this unprecedented Republic-ending Russian collusion hoax conspiracy against President Trump, his top aides, and his supporters over the last 8 years, I would say to those lawfare Democrats to lawyer up, because as I've said for the last 3 years very publicly, since the Mar-a-Lago raid, justice is definitely coming. I have pushed very hard for this for the last 3 years, and I'm going to push very hard for this for the next 4 years, very publicly. People, I'm a dog barking down the street. I'm coming. Right?
Yeah, so I love that. And if you're not done with your timeline, I want to let you keep going. I want to interrupt you.
No, that's
a big one. So January.
That's what I'm pushing for, and that's what I hope will happen.
So my question then for you, Mike, is this. You see this No Kings protest. That's why we're not getting a deal to end the government shutdown, by the way. I hope everybody is very clear about that. They did not want to make a deal before leaving or before they could have this nationwide protest to prove to everybody just how awful Donald Trump is and how he's a big tyrant. But here's the pushback, right? Is Donald Trump has not been quiet about some of the people that he thinks are bad people that deserve to have justice in a legal sense. And so their line is that he is directing the Department of Justice to go after these people. What is the truth? What is your take on that?
He's not, A, but B, he could, because every federal prosecutor in America works for the Deputy Attorney General, who works for the Attorney General, who works for the President of the United States, who's elected by all Americans. They call this the unitary executive theory on the left. I call it Article 2 of the Constitution. The President of the United States is the chief executive officer. He's the commander-in-chief. He's the chief magistrate. And there's a reason we have grand juries. So even if the president orders his attorney general to prosecute someone, you still have to have a grand jury of your citizens find probable cause and approve that prosecution before it moves forward. So again, Trump is not directing Pam Bondi to prosecute anyone, but even if Trump did, that's perfectly appropriate.
Yeah, I mean,
and they call Trump a king. If he was king, he would have been off with their heads, right? In theory. Call me a fascist, call me a racist, call me a Nazi, run me through the mill of lawfare, try to kill me. I don't know that I would be as forgiving as Trump. I would try, but I just don't know that I could do it. He's a bigger man than me. I could say that for sure. I think if you shot me in the ear, I wouldn't want to deal with you no more. I would just find a way to, I don't know. He's a man of steel. That's all I can say. We don't deserve him. Now, the left is losing this battle. the No Kings protest didn't actually do anything to hurt Trump's ratings. I think they went out and hired a bunch of people from the old folks' homes at best. But I think they've lost the youth vote. They've lost the Latino vote, with the exception of the illegals they're trying to keep here. They lost a lot of the black male vote and the black female vote. The only real constituency they have is the communities, the rainbow communities, and I guess their Antifa faction and the illegal factions, and of course, liberal white women, entitled liberal white women. That's not going to make it. There's not enough of those in this country in order for the Democrats to ever win an election again. So they're going to have to broaden their base of appeal if they ever want to win another seat. And I'm not talking about just the presidency. I'm talking about in general. The Democrats are looking bad. They're fighting everything that most people in this country want: clean streets, illegal aliens not sleeping in their front yard or stealing their chickens out of the backyard. We don't want this stuff. There's so many, them abusing our health care, them destroying our economy, being almost destroyed under Biden. We see what happened. Most people know what's going on, and I think that's going to weigh out in the end at the elections, as long as everybody shows up that cares.
Now, I don't think most liberals are insane, but neither.
Now, Bill Maher here, I don't agree with 100% of what he says here, but about 95%. And the writing's on the wall, and he's just calling it in advance.
Now, I don't think most liberals are insane, but neither do they make it clear they disapprove of the ones who are, and their cowardice in not marginalizing their own crazies has been their downfall. I couldn't get Neil deGrasse Tyson, a genius scientist and preeminent scientific voice in the media, to agree that it was ridiculous for Scientific American and The Atlantic to be claiming that separating sports by sex doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. Actually, it makes perfect sense. And it's obvious that it does. When conservatives see it, they say, I'm sorry, we're just not going to go along with reinventing society, often pointlessly, even if we have to cancel democracy to do it. They see gender as only a construct and sex is assigned at birth, and they say, we're not doing that. Transing kids by self-diagnosis with no age limit, no parental notification, and no acknowledgement of social contagion, not doing it. Asylum now covers any reason for anyone to come to America, not doing it. Homelessness is a lifestyle. Natural immunity doesn't count anymore. Whiteness is toxic. Penises in women's prisons. Welcoming the Intifada. We're not doing it. If we are ever going to get back to the old America, that's got to be the Democrats' part of the bargain. Stop coming up with radically new and often terrible ideas, and then in the next breath, insist there be no debate about any of it. That if you don't see it right away and go along, you're bad, stupid, and deplorable. As if you were saying, duh, 2 + 2 = 5, isn't that obvious? Yeah, it's obvious you can't add. You can't just say shit. Math is racist, queers for Palestine, looting is cool, healthy at any weight. If the men's football team played the women's team, it would be a tie. You can't just say shit. I mean, you can, but it doesn't make it true because you're not Harry Potter.
I like that. Now, I've got another one for you. These commentators, even the left-wing commentators, like Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith, are on it out. They see what's coming. They see the Democrats are fixing to, are in process of embracing this communism mandami and embracing illegal immigration, embracing crime, and embracing the murderers over the victims. Most people, Democrat or Republican, don't want to live in a society where they've got to fend for themselves to make it, just on a safety factor, just to go to the grocery store. It's ridiculous in some of these cities. I'll show you some of that here directly. Now, here's Stephen A. Smith. He's not wrong either.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zoran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency. In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance. You have no chance. I want to be very, very clear about that. You might have a Democratic Socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is. America's about capitalism. America's about dollars and cents. America's about an economy, a flourishing economy. Okay? And you know what it's not about? Free stuff. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
Well, I have to agree. But I'm not going to tell them. Let them go ahead and elect Mamdani. I feel sorry for the people living in New York. But when they elect Mamdani, which looks like it's going to happen, and then this Somali guy tries to become communist of Minnesota, and Tim Walz puts his weird arm around him, people are going to take notice and realize, no, this is not the way. This is not what we want. We do not want communist politicians, communist sympathizers as politicians. We just don't need it. Nobody in this country wants that. Nobody wants to embrace socialism if you actually understand what it's about. It's kind of like the rat that's stuck in the trap. Don't know why he's dead. He's dead because he didn't know why the cheese was free. That's socialism, folks. Now, we've got crazy radical Democrats. We've got brainwashed grannies Democrats. We've got violent Antifa, LGBT, Rainbow Mafia Democrats. And now we've got the illegal voting, the illegals in the country, which in theory are the future of the Democrat Party. And so that's why they coddle to them. They don't lock them up for the crimes. They don't deport them. But thank God we got a solution to all that. It's called Donald J. Trump 2024. We got it done. Now this here is a lady named Savannah. She does a lot of street reporting. And she caught something going on here. And I guarantee you what she's witnessing, these people don't want to be filmed. It's not just because they're doing something illegal without licenses and things. It's probably because some of this merchandise is stolen and counterfeit, and these folks are probably from Haiti or somewhere. These folks are probably not American citizens if they're setting up store on a blanket out on the curb. But let me show you how this goes down. This is where we need ICE. This is why we need ICE in New York City, right here.
This is Savannah Hernandez in New York City, and okay, my friends, I was just driving down the street, I was Ubering, and I saw this huge market of African migrants selling all of these bags along this sidewalk. The sidewalk was actually completely full of people, so I was like, okay, pull over, let me see what's going on. Now, I'm walking along this street, and
it's Little Haiti, folks. It's New Haiti. It's ridiculous.
The entire sidewalk was completely packed with people buying these Louis Vuitton bags, buying these YSL bags. Obviously, all of them are knockoffs. Now, I spoke to some of the migrants. They were telling me they're all from Senegal. And as I'm walking around, they all start grabbing their bags very quickly. Again, this entire block was filled with all of these bags, and they picked them all up very quickly. Within 2 minutes, they all started jumping in vehicles, running away. I was speaking to one of the migrants, and he ended up telling me that they don't have the license to sell these purses. It's illegal, and if the cops catch them, they will come and take away all of their products. Another thing that I noticed too, because I was filming, is these migrants, very similar to Paris, telling me that I can't film here.
Hey, you do the film here.
And that I wasn't allowed to be, using my camera. So they're being a little bit of aggressive toward me. And
of course they don't want to be filmed. Of course not. Why? Because they're doing some illegal ass stuff, including most likely being illegals in the country, setting up shop. Some of that free money they got from our government under Biden's administration. Some of them are probably still getting Social Security checks. 20-year-old Haitians getting Social Security checks, I'm sure, so they can buy fake knockoff Louis Vuitton bags. That's why we need ICE, folks. That's why we need borders. That's why we need stricter immigration policies. Now, you may have seen this clip the other day on my channel when I was doing a little bit about the No Kings protest, but I think I'm going to bookmark this clip just because I like it that much. I think this guy is the epitome of the Democrat Party. Just another lost soul that don't know why, but that's what they told him to do, so that's why he's doing it. He's not the brainwash. He's just too stupid to know the truth at this point. Somebody needs to educate this boy. Let's do it one more time, folks. Last video of the day. Just thought this was, I don't know, this is the poster child of the Democrat Party. And thank God it's not the future of America.
Trump's a bitch.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. We don't like him. That's the word around here.
I don't know. We just don't like him. Why? I don't know. It's just the word around here.
Any particular reason why you don't like him?
No clue at all. I'm just going with everybody else saying.
Just going with what everybody else is saying. He don't even know he probably doesn't know any single policy that Trump has put forward or has done to offend his people. He probably doesn't know a damn thing about politics or policies. That's just the absolute truth of the matter. He's just not another go along to get along. Got a name for somebody like that. Uninformed sheep. That little boy is a sheep on. Somebody needs to grab him by his ear and say, hey, let me show you the truth. Obviously, he's not watching any news at all. He couldn't even come up with one thing he hated about Trump. So he's just one of those ones that probably got the flyer. Come join us today. No Kings rally. Free hot dogs and probably drugs in the streets. That's what I got for you today, folks. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Like